Hello, hello. but it's okay.
Everything is vertical.
I don't know how much time we have.
we have 20 seconds. Well, 20 seconds till the intro.
I have no concept of time, and you know that. So you say 45 seconds, and I'm like,
I did just turn our audios on too, so people right now are watching a countdown while they hear us, just like basically falling into delusions.
What's up, YouTubers? I know we have.
Good evening and welcome to another exciting episode of Goth Yearbook. It is I, your host, as always, Eric, aka the Eric Quinn, and with me, as always, is the hostess with the mostest, Caitlin, aka the Caitlin D. Caitlin, how is it? Toxic television watching?
Oh, called out.
Both of us, we both dipped right back into like two of the most toxic television shows. For those of you who don't know, Love is Blind and Married at First Sight.
That's right. It's correct. I'm like afraid to even start talking about it because I immediately know my shit talking side's gonna come out, and then I'm gonna like think about the things I said later when I'm falling asleep and I'm like meditating and I'm like, everyone is me.
Hey, that's fair. Well, we have an exciting guest with us this evening. We want to kind of hop right into it, but before we do, I want to shout out our Patreon, patreon.com/Goth Yearbook After Hours. That is your one stop for all the bonus content of Goth Yearbook. That's where you're going to find special episodes like us doing the history of Elvira, talking about the history of MTV, special script readings from different movies that we've done with friends of the show, and a lot more. So
There's an episode where we cover Edgar Allan Poe and we do like a whole biography of him, and then we do a dramatic reading of The Raven, and I'm happy with how that turned out.
Yes. And of course our infamous Vincent Price episode, which, if you don't know,
Eric does an impression.
Hey, first of all, I'll do it right now. Here's my impression of Vincent Price on a roller coaster. Hoo-wee! Thank you.
I like it. That's one that I'm never going to give you negative feedback for because I never want you to stop doing it.
And it's also, I don't want to give too much away, but it's the infamous episode where the news broke about Armie Hammer. Like Kings came out, and it was before we knew like the more abusive side of it. So it was only like when we thought that people were king shaming, so we went into like a hard like.
No, we were reading Armie Hammer's like tweets in the Vincent Price voice.
Yeah.
That was good.
Enemies. Okay. We're about to get sidetracked again.
Let's do this.
All right. Well,
45 minutes later, Shamir.
Yeah. Without further ado, let's get them in here. He's been on the show so many times that I said right beforehand, platinum member of Goth Yearbook is the one, is the only Shamir.
Welcome.
The slow. It's like 5 minutes of like Pink Floyd style.
Okay. Hi.
Hi.
It's so great to be back.
Oh my God.
We're always so happy to have you, and I did want to congratulate you. I already have over like DM or whatever, but on your new album, Heterosexuality, which I don't know why I said it like Julia Fox or whatever her name is.
Whoa. Caitlin, did you look up a current reference right before we went on the show? Just so that the younger person would be like, oh, they know what they're talking about, Julia Fox.
It's so funny because I feel like I mean, I still consider y'all like younger millennials, but I guess I'm just like fetus millennial. You know what I mean? But I'm still a millennial. Like, it's so funny.
We're golden age millennials.
But it's just
golden years.
Like people around y'all age still like want to like pander to me as if I'm like a Zoomer. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm your peer. Stop.
I mean, I just feel like I get more and more nervous every time we have you on because like every time you've come out with a new album, and I just feel totally like overwhelmed by it and how amazing it is. So if you
I'm
haven't,
an overwhelming person. I'm overwhelmed
You
with myself.
are.
Yeah, no kidding. That's prolific. The prolific life sounds stressful, to be honest.
Well, someone's just like, you're 27, you just released your 8th album. Like, I have like to get my life together, and I'm like, no, that's because my life isn't together. It's like it's called mania and lack of social life. Like, you don't want to aspire to this. It's bad.
Well, we all have different priorities, right? Like,
sure.
you know, and I mean, this album, it's funny that you say like you're an overwhelming person, because I never have. I mean, I had the privilege of sitting down and having lunch with you when you were visiting LA, and like you obviously contributed to a song of mine, Cowboy, and like that was so incredible and generous. And like this album, I like have responded so weirdly to it, because every time I put it on, I can like only listen to 2 or 3 songs at a time, and I get very overwhelmed. Yeah, it's like really intense, and it has different movements, and the instrumentation is intense. You're doing so much, and like you have
no, it's true. It's true.
And look how stressed out I am.
Yeah. No, a lot of people are unfortunately stressed out by this record.
No, in such a good way.
Did I go too hard? Yeah, in a good way. But I'm like, damn, did I go too hard? Oh my God.
No,
Like,
this is your first. This is like the appropriate Goth Yearbook album. In fact, this is like.
Yeah.
Shamir, do you mind turning yourself up just a pinch more if you're able to?
I can. I'm not even
there we go.
I'm not even hot.
Oh, just down slightly from there.
Okay.
I'm just matching you and Caitlin. I'm just matching you and Caitlin. Perfect. This is perfect.
Okay, cool.
Thank you. Yeah, this album is abrasive, aggressive. There's like gnarly sounds on it. You know, I fucking am sinking my teeth into it. I love it. It's just
But then there's also like really pretty like movements and hooks too.
Yeah. I'm a Cabbage Patch Kid, or not a Cabbage Patch Kid. Like what's the
you were
sweet
born
and
in
sour?
A Cabbage Patch?
No, the sweet and sour candy, the candies.
Sour Patch Kid.
Sour Pouch Kids, yes, that's me. Pouch. Like that's me. Like, you know, is it pouch? I don't know. Whatever.
What is it?
I don't know. Honestly,
patch? I don't know. Okay, whatever. Sour Patch. Sour Patch.
They're on the other side of the Cabbage Patch like farm.
No, I like Cabbage Patch. Just Sour Patch.
Sour Patch. Yeah.
Cabbage Patches are the babies.
Yeah, with the faces.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
they were like blooming out of like a cabbage field. Who was the guy that came up with that? I was like, yeah, and little kids are just gonna pluck them from a vegetable.
Wait, what are you talking about?
Cabbage Patch Kids.
They came from cabbage blooms?
Well, no, that's the logo.
They were like dolls that you could buy in a store that you would give to your baby.
But if you look at the logo, the logo is a baby's head in a cabbage. I swear to God.
We're already way off track.
So Shamir, what do you have, out of curiosity, when you finish an album and like you're rolling into like this phase when you're like promoting it and you're about to kind of do the shows and anything like that, do you have any ritual? Do you have anything that like celebrates the end of like the part of like the recording or anything
No,
like that?
I typically don't, but you know what? I did a spell at the end of this one.
Oh shit. No way. Are we allowed to hear a little bit about that spell?
Well, it's just a spell kit that my aunt made for me for my birthday, like for 2020. And I finished the album. Well, we finished tracking the album. It wasn't like finished mix and everything, but we had finished tracking the album in March 2021. And on the last night of tracking, I did a spell. And then my producer's birthday was a few weeks later. He's March Taurus. And he finished like all his post-production work on his birthday. He didn't tell me until then. He's like, yeah, I finished my birthday. And I was like, why didn't you tell me? So like, I was like, okay, what should I get him for his birthday? So I basically recreated the same kind of like spell kit that my aunt made me for my birthday, because I really loved it and I thought that was like really cute, but I'm like made him his own like personalized version. So he did a spell as well. So I feel like the double magic maybe helped.
Oh yeah, and it gets like exponentially bigger each time, you know.
Hopefully
it goes to more people and it ripples out.
Hey, I right before showtime, I pulled up a little EW, which stands for Entertainment Weekly article, a little interview that they did with Shamir. And Caitlin, you're going to like this. This is how you know that Shamir is in good company. They asked him the album that wrecks me. And you know what album they chose, Caitlin?
What?
Lana Del Rey, Ultraviolet.
Ultraviolet.
and
Oh yeah.
basically wrote in there something about like
Ruined my life.
they can separate the art from the artist, and they know the real ones when they are down with Lana Del Rey.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't. There's like there are, because I think it's sometimes like there was like this tweet where it was like not Wendy Williams uh let's not even get into that because it's bad for her. Okay, no, because I cry when I think about Wendy Williams. Right, it's like really bad. No, it was Whitney Houston. And it's like that video of her where she's like, sometimes, because the person's like all the time. She goes, sometimes. And it's like only sometimes. And in the sense that like Lana is just so integral to like my influences that like, do I think she's stupid now? Yes. And like, do I like not love her? No. But like, can I take away like the influence that the album has on me? I just can't. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, I can divest as much as I possibly can, but like the influences is always going to be there, unfortunately.
Of course, yeah. And it's because the artistic wavelength is something that goes beyond like ego identity, you know?
Physical, yeah.
So you why not transcend and go up into you can swim in the same current as someone else that you don't agree on every fucking little thing with, or like have the same enthusiasm for their career that you used to, you know?
Exactly.
I feel the same way about like Kanye West. I mean, besides like emotional abuse, I don't want to say besides emotional abuse, you know, I'm not like
besides a lot of things.
Besides that little
besides a lot of things, like exactly, yeah, like with Lana Del Rey, there's a lot of things, you know, there's a lot of things, but yeah, I think that it's funny that you say that, because I don't necessarily like, your vocals are so distinct, and I can see that sort of similarity between you guys, because she really like did go and like methodically, I don't know if you did this, but the way her voice is, it sounds like she just like created this whole thing for herself that was so her own, and it was like, I like this from this person and this from this person, and really thinking about that and mixing it together.
I think I am that type of singer. I think it's just like not as apparent as it is in like Lana, because, and that's what I love about Lana, is that like she's able to create very different textures in her voice. You know, she has like the deeper, and then sometimes she has like the baby voice, and you know what I mean? And like and I think I take from a lot of different singers in like a lot of way, but like in a more of like a genre wise, like I think I have such like a very specific vocal tone that is like, you know, when you hear me, you're only going to think Shamir, but like,
yeah,
I can also like sing literally any genre, you know,
right, yeah,
and it won't sound like out of place.
Yeah,
you know what
absolutely.
I mean?
If you just joined us, Caitlin and Shamir are talking about some of their favorite cultural icons: Kanye West, Wendy Williams, and Lana Del Rey. They were talking about how they specifically like their hot takes and political stances. No, speaking of rituals, Shamir, I can't help but point out that every single time you join us on the show, you always have, I feel like, a cool, fancy new drink that you're sapping upon.
I feel like these are my go-tos, though. These are my go-tos, no? These
are the last time. What is it for the listeners at home?
The platinum Bud Light seltzer.
Nice.
It has like this nice little like collegiate emblem on it.
Yeah, these are my. This is how I wrote my book.
I want that isolated audio.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right.
Is there? Go on, Caitlin.
I feel like I want to ask one question before we get into the fan questions, if that's cool. I wrote down like a paragraph, and then I'm like, I don't actually have a question here, so I'm trying to formulate the question in my head. But I feel like I've seen it's like reflected in this album, I think, and like also from like some of your Twitter posts, and you know, having any sort of connection with you, like it's like, it's not just you, it's like this album resonates because it's like you, me, and everyone we know, right? Everyone's just at this fucking like losing their minds fucking breaking point. And I know that's something that you've had to navigate a lot as a human being and as an artist, is a lot of being told you can't exist in certain spaces, being told you don't exist, being told whatever, you're all these kinds of things that I don't even want to say, you know? I know for myself, I had like a sense of feeling different since I was a kid, but I also like, I present my sexual preference. I am white skinned, you know, like I come from like a blonde middle class family. Yeah, all I know this is shocking.
Even though you've tan since Mexico, like, and it's glowing.
Thank you. I'm working on it. But actually, and it's funny you say that because this is the first time in my life I've actually like removed myself from, you know, like being surrounded by mostly people who are in my class, who are in my race, who are in who speak my language predominantly. And it's definitely been a wake up call as far as like I had a lot of adrenaline from it at first. And then I hit this point where I was like, I can't go out today because I can't like think of a Spanish word to say, because I can't even think of an English word to say. I don't even know how far I would get.
I will honestly say that there is a direct correlation between like how you probably feel once you kind of like hit that wall to like how I feel leaving the house, just like in general as myself. You know what I mean? It's like exactly what you said. I felt that so empathetically because that's pretty much how it's like, but just like perpetually. You know what I mean? I speak the same language, but it's just because I look like this, because I am this, it still kind of feels like there's like a language barrier, or like, you know, like I have to like work extra harder just to like, you know, leave the house.
Yeah, and if you're listening and you don't resonate with this empathically, if you're not an empath out there and you're listening, or you're not any of these like, and I'm sure anyone listening has felt this, but it's like, yeah, it's
everyone's
fear.
felt isolation, sure, yeah.
It's fear, it's isolation, it's like this sense of getting smaller, of like not feeling connected, of not even wanting to be in a body, you know, that feeling unsafe. It's all these things, and so I guess the question is, do you want to speak on that at all, and like your process in this album?
Yeah, exactly. I think that is what the album is about too, at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Because like I had this realization right before I started writing it, and I think that was like the universe, like, because like I was going on like this like midnight Twitter spiral, and as I do, and a couple days
part
later,
of your charm.
Part of my charm. Being mentally ill on Twitter, and a couple days later, that's when Isaac DM'd me, and I kind of like realized that like, okay, this is like something that I've like worked through, and I had kind of like the seed of like the art idea with like the whole like horns and hooves and everything. And I like, I didn't write it down, but I just like had it in the back of my mind. I'm like, okay, like if I, you know, write some more music, like this will be like a cool kind of like art direction thing. And then 2 days later, Isaac DM'd me and like sent me music and was like, let's work. And I was just like obsessed with his production. And I was just like, this is perfect. And it's like, and like the sound was just like perfect with like already like the artistic thing that I was like going for. And it was during that time, this was the end of 2020, you know, we all like realized things. And like, I'm a person that's constantly investigating myself and like psychoanalyzing myself and realizing things because like, you know, I'm bipolar and I have to, it's like basically a part of like my mental health journey. Like I have to like constantly investigate my triggers in order to grow and like continue my path of like staying healthy. And I'm like, why is it that I still feel all of this friction being a queer person, especially being a Black queer person, even though I feel so comfortable with it internally? You know what I mean? It was like,
yeah.
And then I realized that like, that's no matter how, and that's what's so annoying, that they keep pushing pride, they keep pushing pride, they keep pushing pride. If you are still being oppressed outwardly, no matter how good you feel on the inside, you're still going to feel shitty because you are being oppressed.
It's like be strong. It's like complimenting for being strong and brave.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? But it's like, I still struggle. And so, yeah. And so this record was me working through that frustration because I had just realized it. I never really like thought it through until then, really. And I think I kind of like felt it without being able to like really like, you know, pinpoint it and like, you know, provide it with a nuanced outlook. And again, as I said in a lot of interviews, I think that's just because I'm older and I'm wiser and,
Well, and I
I
think
know
like,
better.
Sorry to interrupt you,
No,
but I'm having
that
a
was not.
thought. No, I want to hear more though, but what just came to my head is like, it's like the opposite. Like, why would pride be chosen to begin with? And it's like, well, it sounds like it's the opposite of shame, you know?
Sure.
But that's like
And
saying
pride
that
has its
love is
place.
the opposite.
Don't get me wrong. You know what I mean?
Right. But it's like how they say love is the opposite of, or peace is the opposite of war, or, you know, and it's like, well, no, there's nuances. And I think like in some ways the opposite of shame is just expression. And sometimes that's rage and not, it's not about being like, of course you're proud of who you are, you know, or maybe you're just maybe you're not, maybe you're just standing by who you are because you are who you are, you know? And I'm not saying you, I'm saying like the royal you know?
Sure.
But yeah,
well,
so
it's just a realization that like getting past the shame is only one part of it. And I think the second part of it, i.e., changing society, we all know that that's the hard part,
right?
And I think that's why rainbow capitalism and like all of these things is so frustrating because they want to continue to harp.
stands behind.
Yeah,
it's like
they want to continue to harp on the pride, and it's just like we're past the pride part. Can we get some rights?
Yeah, no shit.
A bit of rights, please.
Yeah.
Well, it
just like basic human rights. Yeah,
insulting.
Let's go there. Let's start
like,
with that.
Chevron is like, we're gonna put like a couple rainbow colors on like the cartoon cars, while all the oligarchs who run our company are just like totally creating this constant oppressive environment. Like everyone who like is the CEO and board member and like head stock members of all those companies, I'm sure they're voting in the absolute worst interest of queer people out there. And then they're like, well, we don't want Twitter to say anything, so just slap a little
it's
hashtag
annoying.
pride.
It's annoying. And I'm like, and you know what? Come June, I'm going to continue to collect those checks while I continue to think.
Yeah.
Because I will say that June, for someone like me, is a payday.
Hell yeah.
Every single year.
Well, and it's like, you have to, right? Like, because people forget, I think, that the government exists to support people. And like well, but like that's that's the reason it's supposed to be there, right?
Yeah,
the concept. Otherwise, what are the taxes for? If I'm just living here and you're telling, and like I'm I'm just a marionette or whatever, then but that's part of it, that's part of the whole hustle of especially like American society. I can't speak to other countries so much because I don't know as well.
Yeah. You know what? That was such a perfect and thoughtful question, especially for the record, because I think despite it being such a hard record for someone like you, I think you metabolized it well and like fully understood, because that's like that is the basis of the record, really. Because I think, and also I say, like, a lot of people think it's like about my queerness. It's not about my queerness. Like, it is about my relationship to the cishet world as a queer person,
and I think part of why like it's, and I don't want to keep bringing up, well, I'm not even gonna bring it up, but like I think part of why this kind of album it's like hitting me so hard, and why it's so great that it exists right now is like, and I keep telling people this about like my healing work right now. I'm like, my whole like potential career as a healing person like is just now infinite because the entire world is traumatized now. Like we all went through like this situation where it is a traumatizing event, unless you were living in an underground bunker and you don't know better, that like to ever like walk outside and like have all this programming where you're fearing for your life just breathing air, that's traumatizing. And so I think it's like part of the whole equalization process of all these different people, because it's like now, yes, like all these like queer people and all these different groups of people that have been traumatized and traumatized and traumatized and traumatized and traumatized. They're like, oh, now like you're saying, oh, it's too hard to act normal because there's a global pandemic and I've been through something. I'm gonna like just drink wine and like fuck my life all day and blah. But then if it happens to other people, it's like, oh well, you gotta just get your shit together, get on some pills,
Well, that's why I mean, I'm gonna only speak for myself, but I can also like think of like other like egregiously marginalized friends of mine as well. The pandemic is like fine for us. Like, like it was like fine for us more. Like it's like, the people who, you know, had a little bit more privilege and had to have been told no for the first time in their lives. You know
You're
what I
right.
mean? That are like, suffered a little bit more. Like, I was kind of like used to it. Like, I'm not going to say that like I was fully unaffected. I feel like everyone has been affected. You know what I mean? But I think it certainly was way easier for me to navigate because of past experiences than most.
Yeah, that
Well, and
makes sense.
I think where it also like now these groups of people, maybe the middle class people, where it's like these single unit families, and there's a lot of like separation in families in this upper class like white world, and like there's a lot of like lack of history and culture because there's been a complete erasure of their narrative because they don't remember that they're immigrants from somewhere else,
Yeah.
and like we can't talk about that or whatever. So, or we just don't know, and now it's like, oh, well, these systems aren't in place now. Like this community, this sense of community and this sense of like, oh, things are like, we have to be there for each other in times of hardship and like continue to, not
But I
completely
mean,
shut down.
that's what makes the pandemic so like almost kind of like comically like karmic because
Yeah.
like, this lack of history was by design. Something like a pandemic, like brings these, ugly things to light. You know what I mean? Like we should have always, had critical race theories in school. You know what I mean? That should have always been a thing. And now something that is complete that can't be manipulated, like the gaining of rights for people in something like a pandemic, which like kind of puts people a little bit more on a level playing field than like most things. These things come to light, and that's what's also been like, this like just like I said, this like comically karmic because it's just like we're in this situation because these things should have already been talked about and implemented.
Nature loves balance at the end of the day,
Yeah, true,
if,
true. Yeah.
if you're at a certain perspective in nature, it can look all kinds of rugged and out of balance and like, but then you zoom out and there's patterns, and these things change, and you can only like commit atrocities for so long and throughout like and just create these economic systems. Look at all of human history. Everything goes away at some point, We do live in very interesting times. I don't want to take away from too much of the time of our fans' questions, but is there anything else you want to say on that?
No, you know what I mean? Babylon fell and it's gone again.
Hell yeah.
Into it.
Woo!
All right, well, Shamir, we did get some voicemails. Would you like to take a listen to a couple of them?
Sure, let's do it.
Oh my goodness, here we go. Boo, 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 boo. And real quickly, Shamir, while I'm pulling it up right now, Caitlin and I the other night were just talking about a classic from our youth during high school, which was the album Hot Fuzz by the Killers, who are from Las Vegas, which is where you are from. I just had a curiosity about that. Do you remember like at the time? Because I know, hey, maybe we are a little close in age, but when the album came out, we were definitely elders compared to you. Like, were they
I was a senior night.
Were they considered like hometown heroes, or were you like, was there a buzz about them, or was it like uncool to like them because they had like gotten to the big time?
Let's talk about how I opened for the Killers.
Oh shit!
For the opening of the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas.
Oh shit!
I'm the first artist to have ever played the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas.
Holy shit!
Wow!
Hell yeah!
And I was opening for the Killers.
They were closing for you.
They're hometown heroes because Vegas is very unpretentious and very like it's kind of a capitalist hellhole.
Right.
So someone like the Killers, like no matter how uncool they can potentially get, they're always going to be hometown heroes, as well as Imagine Dragons and as well as Panic at the Disco.
Oh shit! I didn't know.
I
that
really
those were
don't get
two.
much Vegas love. I'm being honest. Like, sometimes they'll mention me, and like, I've
There,
been on the cover of like 2 local magazines, but like until I hit that like level, I don't think they're really gonna like respect me as much as like Philly, who's like very pretentious and they like think I'm like the coolest local thing ever.
you have the kind of career though that I really believe is more of a legacy career, so I know you're gonna like come back to Vegas and have that like
Yeah, I think eventually
residency,
maybe.
and then you're gonna feel the fucking Vegas love and it's gonna be real.
And I believe that as well.
Show
I don't want them
money, Shamir.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't want them to think that like, I'm bitter or like I don't, I still definitely rep Vegas. I definitely feel, compelled to rep both Philly and Vegas almost equally. And I think I do,
Hell yeah. Absolutely.
LA has mixed feelings about me and I love LA.
All right, let's get into this.
Hello. This is for Shamir. I want to ask, where do you got your clothes? Because you're very pretty and very cool. Thank you. Have a wonderful night.
This is a compliment. That's not a question.
Where'd you get your clothes?
Yeah,
where I get my clothes? Oh, I didn't hear that part.
You
heard
the pretty,
I'm pretty.
And then they're asking you like very specific questions, like who was your producer? You're like, there were no questions.
There was no questions. I just literally, I heard pretty and I blacked out. Like I was like,
they're actually what they asked was like, I thought it was pretty cool that like, who's pretty?
Pretty. Every date I've ever been on, just like, who are you?
Yeah.
What is your name? Anyway, come on in.
But I'm glad that it's about the clothes because I'm very, the older I get and the more like kind of like the more kind of environmental conscious that I become, like clothes become even more of a thing that I think about even more. You know what I mean? I think to start off, I want to say that we need to stop being so mindless about clothes. We have to be more purposeful about our clothes. And I think that is kind of the only thing that's like going to save us from fast fashion. People just, they just want the trends. They just want the thing. People are very mindless about clothes. And I think that's part of the problem. So secondly, to answer the question, I only buy secondhand and upcycle for the most part. I only buy new is if it's like, a very unique piece that I know that I will take great care of, or band merch. And like that's it.
Hell yeah.
Kaylin?
Fuck, I was gonna say something about I when you were saying being mindful about clothes, at first I thought you meant like fashion wise, and then I was like, I fucked there. And then and then I realized you were clarifying intention wise, and I was like, damn, I kind of fall short in that category a lot of the time.
We all do sometimes, you know what I mean? Like it's definitely a rewiring, you know what I mean?
I have trouble finding clothes that fit me, and what I should learn to do is learn to alter my clothes. That was the question I had for you: is do you alter your clothes?
I do. Mm-hmm.
I do,
and I'm not even that good at like sewing, but and I only hand sew. I don't have a machine. But I know how to hand sew enough to like alter, enough for myself. So yeah, I upcycle, I alter, I knit and crochet as well. So like I literally just like knit a lot of like my own clothes as well, which is like, I'm constantly thinking about these things. So I'm constantly thinking about like, I use a lot of acrylic yarn, that's like plastic and like not biodegradable as well. And I'm like now thinking about like, should I start strictly just like being natural fibers, but natural fibers are hard to wash. But then also if I use acrylic, like I know that the things that I make, I'm gonna keep forever. So it's like, does it balance out? I'm constantly thinking about these things.
Yeah, I definitely have gone through periods of my life where I've gone like completely like trying not to use any and then I'm like, but am I using more water now? And then you start to wonder like, what the hell am I doing if I get an electric car? And like who's making those electric cars and like, and it's very difficult. And I think it's like what I try to live by personally is like when I have the energy to like put into the system, I do that. And I try to be in touch with myself and like feel myself be a part of the system, you know?
And that's all you can do, because I feel like the second that you feel like you're going to go like you're spiraling, the more mindful you become. You have to just also just like tell yourself there's, no ethical consumption under capitalism. You're just doing your best.
Well, and
Right.
I really believe in reframing like our human relationship with the environment
Yeah.
in the sense that we tend to have these very negative we tend to project a very negative light on our relationship with the environment. We're harmful, we're toxic, we're whatever. I personally try to think of myself as a part of the environment.
Exactly. Same.
And so I try to remember too, human beings, like we also produce things that are good for the earth. Like,
I'm sorry. What? There's some rant. One of the websites that we got up. I apologize.
Can make your day.
I don't even know which one it is. Oh, it was the Entertainment Weekly article.
okay,
I
can't even
apologize for
talk.
that.
I'm gonna lose my train of thought if I don't jump back into it. But I try to see myself as part of the environment. We breathe air that the trees breathe our toxic waste, like the chemicals in our food. There's chemicals in fruit. Everything's like made of chemical. Everything's like a reactive material. So like reframing just how we see ourselves. And it goes back to that, like, am I in my body? Am I comfortable in my body? So I think even like doing these artistic processes where you express these feelings, and like, for me, it's like moving to a new environment and learning to navigate and finding that strength, and like finding that, like, okay, who am I then in this place where I am out of context,
Yeah, it's
we can
growth and
create those.
connection.
Yeah, and we can create those relationships. So this fashion question, basically, how are we gonna?
It was great once I realized that it wasn't just them calling me pretty.
Also, yeah, a lovely compliment. Should we go on?
Oh boy. Okay, we got a couple more voicemails.
I'm sorry.
I love this.
If you're just joining us, Shamir and Caitlin are giving each other tips on how to destroy the earth of its natural resources.
Wipe it clean.
On our yacht with Kanye and Lana.
Yeah.
We're trying to look like Mars by the end of the decade.
Yeah. Let's just live on another planet.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm calling in with a question. I would like to know, for all three of you, what is the most beautiful place you have ever seen? All right, have a good night.
Oh my goodness. We got a kitten on
Lovely.
the desk right
South
now.
Philly.
South
Fish
Italy?
Town. Hell yeah.
I said South
South
Philly.
Philly. I was like, South Italy.
Which is
The sights
basically
and
South
sounds
Italy.
of Fish Town.
Yeah, it doesn't say so.
We got ourselves a little kitten.
Aw.
Never mind, they're not doing that. Oh boy. They were so cuddly, and then the second I started doing that, they were going at my face. All right.
Okay, that was a joke. I'm gonna let y'all start first.
Oh, well.
Oh.
Kaylin?
Eric? Shit. Everyone's got to think about it.
I don't even know. I mean,
No, I gotta know. I think I'm just gonna say Australia as a whole, but a specific place, I'm gonna say Prague.
oh, fuck.
Prague, yeah, gorgeous. I'm like, yeah, where's that?
Czechoslovakia.
No, I know where Prague is.
It's really cheap too. That's why I said that too, because it's really pretty, but it's also really cheap.
I mean, so many places in Europe are so beautiful. The whole world is so beautiful.
Oh, boy. Oh, man. I'm going to say this. I'm going to throw out, because I feel like it's a place that would not get that much rep, but New Mexico has so many beautiful places like surrounding it. And especially they have the white sand desert out there. And there's like,
Ooh.
I went to visit my stepdad when he was living there many, many years ago. And when you get like lost out like in the dunes and the sun's starting to set, it just like you feel like you're, to speak of Mars, like you feel like you're on a different planet, because already it's like different from the typical like quote unquote like desert landscapes, because the sand is kind of like different than you're used to, but you're getting like that same like kind of southwestern purple and oranges hitting like the mesas around you and stuff like that. You feel like you're a part of some like alien world that does not feel natural. So I remember being like, into it, like a young, stupid, like stony little junior hire, being like, yeah,
You know,
I mean,
I'm a desert baby, so I'm
yeah,
definitely still partial to like the southwestern desert for sure.
Southwestern desert is beautiful. And it's funny, New Mexico is like, I haven't spent much time there at all. I would love to though.
Same, honestly, yeah.
But it's like such a hot spot for UFO and like other dimensional
X-Files theme song
interference.
interlude. Do-do-do-do. Shout out to YouTuber who just said the whole world is beautiful. Good thing we are energy and can stay here forever. Ooh,
Ah, lovely.
yeah,
We're always going to be a part of Earth. That's what I'm saying. Like we die and we become part of Earth.
yeah, hell yeah.
I am thinking honestly, like how before I moved here, literally to where I'm living now, I visited here like 7 years ago while my friend was still building this place, and it was like the most beautiful place I had ever been to. And I used to we were swimming out in the sea, and I was like, this is like the most gorgeous fucking shit, and the water's perfect and the sky is perfect, and it's just like, like different places of equality of the air where it's like changes the colors, and the colors were perfect. And I used to like use that as my happy place sometimes when I was like meditating or trying to like change my mood or whatever. And ending up living here has been so funny. Just now, sometimes I'll look at it and just be like thinking about all this bullshit, and like so lost in my like, I forgot to get yogurt like at the store.
I think that's kind of like the annoying thing about becoming one with like the earth and the environment is that your mood definitely changes with it. And I'm just like, that's like you said, when I was like messing up, I'm like, I'm a little emotional today. And like, that feels very unlike myself. I just feel just like very empathetic and in tune with everything. And like, I don't necessarily like that. Like
Pisces energy, Pisces season.
To me, those cider Budweisers. My voice.
Well, no, they're seltzers. They're seltzers.
Seltzers. I meant my voice.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Like I started to lose my voice right there.
And I'm starting the second. Here we go.
Oh shit!
Crack it.
Hell yeah! If you're just joining us, indie Philly icon Shamir getting a little tips on the. I always
have
Yearbook.
At least 2 on Goth Yearbook.
Hell yeah!
Like at least 2.
All right.
So do you have like a specific place? Wait, Shamir, you didn't say one, right?
He said Prague.
Oh, Prague. Right. That's right. We started.
Yeah, Prague. Well, I said Australia is a country.
Right.
But as a specific place, Prague.
All right. What is the most beautiful place in Philly? Just out of curiosity. Now I'm curious. Like if you even, it doesn't have to be in your own version of beauty. Like what is a place that you go to and you're just like, this is it.
Well, as far I've experienced nearly as much Philly as I should have within like 6-7 years I've been here almost.
Watching a fist fight in front of Geno's.
Yeah, that's I like the ghetto shit. You know what I mean? But as far as like the natural beauty, and maybe that's just because it's like the closest to me. But there's like Bartram's Garden, which is like a natural situation. I think it's a botanical garden. Like in Southwest Philly, and I'm in South Philly, so it's like a little bit more Western, but it's like kind of like the closest to me. And like I did like a lot of like the shots, like the very like kind of like natural looking shots that I did for the cycle there. And also, hey, I just want to tell the story because this is really funny. So you're like shooting there, and I'm done up in like the horns and the hooves and like everything. And while my photographer is like photographing me, a little boy like I guess gets separated from his family and like runs up to us, and he goes, "Are you a moose?"
I mean, I feel like that's a legit question if you're a child.
What did you say? What was your answer?
And I was like, I guess, kind of. And then his family comes up, and the dad walks up, and I'm like, oh my God, this can go one of 2 ways. And then the dad goes, "You look so cool."
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, but that was really funny. The kid was like I feel like I like scarred that child, not necessarily like in a in a bad way, but I feel like he's always gonna like think this like mythical creature exists.
He's going
Because
to
he
for
saw me.
sure. Yeah, he's for sure going to school. You know how there's always that one kid that lies. Like,
Yeah.
my dad worked at Nintendo. Like, he'll come up
Yeah.
and be like, I saw a moose, and guys,
A
I
moose
think,
human
yeah.
thing
and they're gonna not
person.
believe him, and he's like, but it's true.
Yeah.
But I
Gaslit
feel
by
like
lies.
that's how the myth exists in the first place. Like
Yeah.
people putting on
Yeah.
antlers from the beginning of time. They've just been like, what do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just someone shooting press photos for their album the entire
Oh,
time.
shit. All right, we got a
And there's
couple.
so much. So sorry, go on.
We got a couple more. Let's get through them.
Let's
Hey Shamir, I'm from Philly too, and I was just wondering, what's like your favorite Philly like venue or like place where you used to see shows, that you have memories at and that you miss. Thanks. Bye.
I'm glad it was specifically venues because I was
Yeah,
gonna feel
yeah,
bad if
'cause
we
I
just
was like,
stepped
well,
all
yeah.
over that like before. I'm like, oh, thank God, my bad.
Venues, it's a small venue, but like, I mean, Philomoka is always a vibe. Like, it's a nice like balance between kind of like the DIY, but also it's like it's still technically an official like venue and art space.
Have you ever played
What was
the?
it called?
It's called Philomoka.
Philomoka?
Yeah, it's it stands for Philadelphia
Philadelphia.
Museum
Oh.
of Modern Arts. Yeah, Philadelphia Museum of Modern Arts.
A mode? I thought okay.
Of contemporary arts.
Of contemporary. Yeah, C.
Mocha,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's the C. Yeah, I don't know how to spell. It is.
It's
Yeah, they
short
have
for
great-
Philadelphia Mocha Frappuccino.
Yeah, exactly. Which is just cold brew and whiskey.
Damn, that
yeah.
sounds delicious.
Yeah, no
That's
shit.
I love it. It's kind of dark. And yeah, Philadelphia is always a vibe. It's just I think it's like only like 150 cap, but it's always a vibe. It's fun playing there. It's fun being there. I just saw the artist Squirrel Flower there like I think a week or so ago. Yeah, I think that's my favorite Philly venue, Philadelphia.
Have you played a World Cafe?
I only as a guest.
That's what I meant.
So I came out.
Well, aren't they always a guest?
But as a guest of someone who's
Oh,
playing,
gotcha.
I've never
I'm a
like
dumbass.
I've never been booked like as Shamir for World Cafe,
Gotcha.
but very recently. It was very recently. It's back in like November. My friend Esther Rose, she's an amazing country singer.
Shit! Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I came out and sang some harmonies with her.
Awesome.
What's your favorite coffee spot in Philly?
Ooh, good question.
It's called oh my god, brain is like
You're like it's Philly Mocha. You're like it's a different one though.
it's called Elixir. It's in Center City. It's
Okay.
it's like on like Walnut and
Oh,
like
wow.
16th, and it's like on a like really weird side street. It's like kind of really hidden, but yeah, Elixir in Center City. It's great.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
We got one more here.
I love a good coffee shop.
Same, yeah.
Sorry about that. Here we go.
This is for Shamir. What are some underrated ways to take care of ourselves now to make things easier when we get older?
Wow.
Shamir has.
Does
left
this
the
caller
podcast.
do
For those
voice
of you
work? Like,
Right. Really nice.
Yeah.
yeah.
To ensure for later. That's the catch. You know what I mean?
Mm.
I'm only 27. That's like really that's a lot for me.
Oh,
You know?
finally
I
admitting
like
that they're young.
Well,
What
I mean, it's such an existential question though.
what do you
Like,
wish that you would like, whether it's like big or even small? Like, is there something where like even just a few years ago you're like, fuck, like if I had just tweaked like this thing in my routine or something.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, but that's still also very loaded because I'm mentally ill.
True. Yeah.
So,
How will you survive?
yeah. I mean, I guess like the only thing that I can say is just like understanding that like growth is never ending. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like we should never feel like we have the answers at a certain point in our lives because we never will. We should always keep searching for answers, basically. And like sometimes, and we also have to make peace that sometimes we will never get answers, and we have to like make peace with that. And I think that's growth, and I think that's never ending. So
I love that.
I feel like that's kind of. I feel like that's kind of not really answering, but kind of also.
No, I think
that's
it really
totally
gets,
is.
and it really, I think it really gets to the heart of like, you know, like stress is really what we ultimately die from. I think like life is just constantly throwing stress at us, and it's our ability to like navigate that like determines our ability to survive, you know, and enjoy
in
our
a productive
life.
way. Yeah,
Yeah,
in a productive way where we're like still enjoying our lives, and like we, you know, because that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, like, you know, we were talking about being hard on ourselves when we are like being a little bit more critical about like, you know, things that we wear and things that we buy or like whatever, and kind of like also like, you know, giving yourself the grace of like when you feel like you're on the edge of spiraling, be like, but also, you know, you're never gonna fully like take your like you're never gonna bring your carbon, you know, footprint down to zero. You know what I mean? Like no one's going to be able to do that. So yeah, it's just like constantly interrogating yourself, but also allowing yourself grace and like not being hard on yourself, which is like so much easier said than done. You know what I mean? And I think in order to find that balance also requires just a level of empathy. I will say, like, I hate because you know there's an attack on empaths right now. There's an attack on the empaths. It honestly, like a lot of people who identify as empaths are goofy and annoying. I have to admit, as someone who identifies as empath, but like I do think that like, you know, I constantly think about like the empathetic work that I do. One of the main things being, you know, developing artists, which I think is just like when done right is a fully empathetic job. You know what I mean? And yeah, and I think the more I'm empathetic to my surroundings, the more I learn to be more empathetic to myself personally.
Shit. Put that on the freaking coffee mug leaks through.
Yeah.
That's good. Right
exactly. Exactly.
I love empaths. I feel like people, like a lot of people are, but I think sometimes when you're saying like some are obnoxious, like I've noticed recently, it's like some people mistake like their sensitivity as them being like a quote unquote empath. So then they'll start to like project like something that they're sensitive about onto others. Like it's something I've even tried to catch myself sometimes because like I do think like I have like empathic ways. Like, you know, I think that's natural for people who, you know, come from like abuse, both self and others. Trauma, yeah. Like it's bound to happen. But like I noticed in myself, I'm like, oh, I think like what I'm in tuning to is actually like my own thing that's like vibrating off, and I'm trying to like project on this person. So sometimes like also just like knowing when to reel it in. But then on the other hand, the people who are so far from that extreme, like it just fucking drives me insane how people are so like sometimes just they would rather just really push like themselves into a moment, and they just do not care absolutely at all what like anyone else is like going through, and they don't care to read the room when there's like an obvious tension. It's like,
and that's not empathy. That's like the opposite.
Exactly.
What empathy
is.
But
I'm a little bit envious of those people because I know that they have a level of peace
it's having boundaries
that I would never experience.
And I mean, empathy is a skill that you learn to survive through trauma,
right,
among other things. But that's something that cultivates it in an individual. And so, you know, when people grow up with trauma, grow up with abuse, suppression, all these kinds of things, you know, like you become empathic because your boundaries are much lower, because your capacity to be like tuned into your environment and be like, dude, does this person need me to be we're mad, okay, we're mad, and that's how like mom's not gonna go off in her bedroom and slam the door, you know. It's like as simple as that.
And it's funny,
you know?
You mentioned boundaries too, because I was talking about this to like my friend specifically about how in a lot of instances, like being empath does equate to lack of boundaries. And I think I'm someone who definitely identifies empath and like definitely have had past hardship when it comes to like boundaries, but also like realizing that just because you know, empathetically like feel something from someone does not mean that you have to take on that energy as your own.
I
In
think,
that way that you can
yes.
still be able to like build those boundaries. And I think that is something that I've kind of been learning to perfect just honestly within the last like 2-3 years, honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think like for me, like mastery of being an empath means like, and this is something as a body worker, I had to learn really fast, because otherwise like I'm going home, I'm exhausted, I'm mad, I'm tearing my own life apart because I can't separate what's mine from someone who came in and just lost someone, and I just lost someone. It was just like too much. And I really started feeling, and interestingly, doing the actual like touching other people and just being in a room alone with nothing but like darkness, someone's body and your energies mixing. It really, I was like, this feels like what makes it's like a channel that you can open up, and empathy is a lack of boundaries. It's a willingness to be open. But then like the mastery of it is then like providing a space for that, opening that channel up, allowing that flow, and then being like, I have to close this door, and like take care of my own home, which is like this human body, because I have an ego identity and I have like my own fucking problems to deal with.
Yeah. So true. So real. So real. And that's why like I couldn't even do something like that, like, massaging and like working with people in like that way, because like I mean, that's why, I work with very few artists for like accidental, because like, and that's why I kind of like make it a point of only like working with people that I have like relationships with, or are able to have like relationships with, because like it's a give and take. Like I'm like super empathetic to them as artists and like what they need, but then also in turn I do need them to be like empathetic back to me to be able to like give them what they need. You know what I mean? And if I'm like dealing with like a super narcissistic artist, that's not gonna work.
Right.
Like I'm not gonna be able to give them what they need. So I'm definitely like vigilant about like the type of artists that I work with as well.
Yeah, boundaries are not an easy thing to learn as an empath, but it's such an important tool to learn how to. It's not that it's not even like having boundaries or not having boundaries. It's when to have them, and when to like open up a little bit. And it's very tricky to navigate.
We have some written questions. We're going to treat these because we are getting close to that hour mark. So we're going
to. More questions? Reddit? Do you say Reddit?
No, these are written. People wrote in questions.
Written.
The fuck is
I was like, what app is that? What website is that?
Oh my god.
Tell me more about how I'm pretty.
The gap between the elder millennial and the
I love how like I started off this thing, then like we're the same, and then like the divide is showing.
Yeah.
We're like typewriters, pen and paper, emails.
Oh boy. These are gonna be a little bit rapid fire. We're just going to run through these. Are y'all ready? Let's do this. Would you rather live without pizza or sex for a year?
I don't even want to talk about how long I've lived without sex. So like,
which would you rather though? If you had a choice. I mean, obviously you have a choice, but if it was really good pizza and really available good sex.
I really like pizza, even though I'm gluten intolerant too. But there's definitely more like gluten-free options. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I think just because of experience, like because I am hot.
Yeah,
I turn down a lot of sex just in general. So yeah, so like I guess like I couldn't turn down pizza. Like I can't, like I can imagine a life turning down a lot of sex because that's my life, but I can't imagine a life turning down like pizza. But I'm in the mood for it at least. Like
what's that hot spot in Philly for the gluten-free vegan? What, Black Crow pizza? What's it called? Fuck, Black Raven or Raven?
Oh,
Crow pizza.
I know you're talking about Blackbird.
Magpie?
What's that shit called? You know what I'm talking about.
Blackbird.
Is it Blackbird?
But but I don't think they're gluten free. They're vegan. Yeah, they're not. They're just vegan. I don't think they're gluten free. Or maybe they. I don't know. I have so many friends that work there. I like Slice. They have really good gluten free crust.
Okay, awesome. What instrument?
So hungry.
more hungry than he is thirsty. Am I right?
Uh,
What instrument do you want to learn how to play that you don't already know?
mm, mm, because I play a
I've
lot
never
of
heard that one.
instruments, so I don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
He's
I
like,
just, I
I've
don't know. I
already
just wish,
mastered all of them.
no, I just wish I was like better at playing drums.
That's my
Um,
choice.
but I still like make my way. Like I play drums like a lot on my own records. I like I know how to make my way around it, but like also like a lot of it is comp. So
Hell.
I would say being better at drums, but also I would say as far as like mastering, like I wish like I was just good at like um like MIDI based production.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
for most of the production that I do, it's all like live. I just play everything live because it's like easier for me. Like the concept of like producing on a grid is just like so
Yes.
mind racking to me.
I agree. Did you do the
Yeah.
drums on Running? Is that you?
No.
Oh. You know what?
Danny,
You
my
knew
friend,
other good
Danny is
drums too. That was
amazing.
good. That's like when I
Danny is
used to be like,
amazing.
Ringo's pretty good because the drumming on Dear Prudence is really good, and I found out that's like the one song Paul McCartney actually recorded the drums on. I was like, oh, well, I guess that ends that.
Well, you know what? I have some drums on like my earlier stuff, but as far as like newer stuff, I recently played drums on uh this artist called Pull Blood's record out of pure necessity. And they end up keeping them somehow. So that's gonna be funny to just like hear that come out eventually and like soon. And again, it was severely comped. Like it was not a full take all the way through, but you know, we made it work.
Kaylin, do you have an instrument?
Yeah, I would love to have Cool Blood on too, by the way.
Oh yeah, we can make that work.
Hell yeah.
I really have been having this like craving for learning violin. And I think it's because I have like a Swedish artist that I listen to, Sarah Parkman, and I have my Swedish heritage on my mom's side. And I'm like really disconnected from my heritage as far as like, I don't know anything about like my ancestors or my family tree. And there was like something when I first heard this album that I was like, suddenly I'm like in the fucking, I don't know, Sweden fields, like just feeling like all this like rush of memory. And the violin like really struck a note with me. And I think that if I played violin, I think it would be interesting to play after like I only really like basically know guitar and bass and like a little bit of keyboard. And I think it would be interesting to try it for the first time since I was a kid after learning some guitar, like because they are string instruments, you know, and what that would bring out like vocally, I guess.
Yeah.
That's a good one, yeah.
Shamir, someone wants to know which track from Heterosexuality would you like someone to use as the background music in a fist fight?
Stability, right?
Yeah.
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 You know, there's no stability in the situation and people just like beating each other's ass. And it's like kind of like the more upbeat song on that one. So I think like Stability would like be a good like ass beating soundtrack.
Hell yeah. What TV show can you revisit endlessly?
Oh my god.
Caitlin, while Shamir's thinking about it, do you have a
You know, I'm one of those fucking people that I could always kind of watch The Office. I haven't watched it in a long time though.
I feel like I wear all mine on the sleeve and tell all the time on the show. MASH, Seinfeld, The West Wing,
Not
Frasier.
MASH.
I'm an old man.
I also like sometimes the occasional Kitchen Nightmares.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just watching him yell at those people. And I love a makeover show. Queer Eye honestly is one too that like if I need to cry or if I just need like a mood lift but I have to turn my brain off, I like that show.
I love that show, and I still laugh about the most recent season, the school episode, because I don't know what, maybe it was when I was sick with COVID, but I still don't know what happened in that episode. They were like, there were people walking up and they were crying and being like, Tony, and be like, Tony wasn't in the episode. Like, we didn't get this moment. They did that like 5 times in a row in the school episode and be like, this one kid would walk up and be like, oh, my name is Anthony. And they were like crying. I was like, who? Like, I don't have any care for this kid. They have to build it up. One person only. No schools.
haven't seen a new season yet. I haven't been down bad enough to watch it, but I'm going to eventually, I'm sure, at some point.
Oh, it took me 15 seconds before I was like all out crying. I like had to stand up and be like, I need to get like a roll of paper towels before I sit down and watch this.
But yeah, I think like the last season that I like kind of like I binge was like obviously the Philly season because like
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
that one's really good. Okay, so my answer, I think I'm gonna say Roseanne. I know
Oh,
it's
so good. That's
Oh, I haven't watched
classic.
that forever.
I know.
It's one of my favorites.
I've seen. I'm pretty sure I've seen every single episode of Roseanne like 5 times over.
Did you
Does
watch
that
the
take
reboot?
place in Philly?
No,
No, it's
Oh,
in
like
like
Indiana.
remember.
yeah.
Shit. Yeah,
It's like
It's
Ohio
where?
or Indiana.
yeah, like
Oh.
a weird
or
middle
Michigan.
situation.
Yeah, it's,
All I remember is the living room.
no one cares.
Yeah, iconic liver. But you know, like she's another example of just like someone like it's so funny because it's like I'm as woke as I am now because I grew up watching Roseanne, and then like now Roseanne is like what Roseanne is now, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Like
She championed.
you hate the people that you created.
I know she championed queer like comedians in the '90s
Yeah.
way harder than most other people in her like
No, she was
position
woke as
did.
shit in the 90s.
Yeah, and it's just you hate to see it.
You hate to see it.
What does she do now? Or what's I haven't.
Oh,
I
she's
don't know.
conservative. She's like a
man.
Trump supporter now.
yeah, and not just that. Like she said some like very
Oh,
inflammatory things in the last like 10 years. Like she self-sabotaged her career in like a very intense way because Roseanne had like a reboot and she did like
Oh,
a bunch
yeah.
of things I don't even remember like but enough that they like took the show from her and then rebranded as the Connors without
Yeah.
Roseanne.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, like that's pretty hardcore.
Damn.
Yeah. All right, and finally, who are some current artists that you listen to?
Let me pull up my Spotify.
Oh. Real quickly while you're
I-
pulling up, are you working on I don't know if we're maybe even not allowed to talk about it, but are you working on a project with Greg Ahi? Ahi? If I'm pronouncing
Oh yes, he.
because I saw
Not for me. Yes, not for me. But we
Oh,
were working. We were
okay.
producing for another artist.
I was
But also, he's
hopeful.
like literally like my favorite person like ever. Like period. Like
We are talking about the guitarist from Proto Martyr who
Mhm.
I messaged you the time I saw it and I was like crying emojis. Oh, he writes like my favorite guitar
Yeah.
stuff like ever right now. Oh, that band. I could
Best band.
fucking like I get shivers when I think about them. I play them on the radio show endlessly. He just writes like the freakiest, beautiful. I could.
oh my god,
I
I'm
can't-
listening to this. Like literally, you don't understand. Like me and Greg. Okay, let's talk about the weekend that me and Greg had. Then, if we're gonna get into it, like
Let's do this.
let's just fully pivot to this, okay?
All right.
Because like it's so funny. Like we are so similar in the sense that like we're like chaotic neutral. You know what I mean? Like we're very chill, but we're also like very chaotic. And like we like as chill as we try to be, chaos follows us. You know what I mean? And we drank very little. I don't know what it was. It was just like the energy, the vibes. I don't know, something like whatever. But basically, like I was in Detroit for 2 days basically. I got in like super late Saturday night, just like passed out. We wrote all day Sunday with the artist Kenny.
Mm.
And then went to studio Monday. That was like the plan. And then Kenny drove to the Airbnb where we wrote. And so she kind of stopped herself for like a couple drinks and she's like, hey, I need to drive back, like blah blah blah. So then like afterwards, me and Greg are just chilling. And like last thing I know, like we're like listening to like I think like Skating Polly or like whatever. And there was like one more bottle of wine that like we hadn't even popped open at least last time that I remembered. And then like next thing I remember, I wake up at 9 a.m. and I'm puking. Like everything in between then is just like black.
Oh,
And
my
then
goodness.
I text him and I'm just like, what did we like rage? Like what happened? And he's like, I don't know, but I'm dying and I fell outside and I'm just like covered. I have like pictures of the scars of him like covered and he like fell when he like somehow made it home. I don't even know when he made it home.
Right.
And he like left his guitar at my Airbnb, said like bring his guitar
Oh
and
my
like
gosh.
everything to the studio. It's like a mess. And then while I'm packing up, I see that the last bottle of wine was cracked open. I'm like, I don't even remember drinking it. I don't even remember drinking it. And then like next thing I know, I didn't realize that I had a drunk tweet that I didn't even realize until I got back to Philly, where clearly I was trying to tweet Only Love That Night, which is like, and this was like at 3 a.m. which is like, I don't remember what happened on fucking Sunday at 3 a.m. But I think I was trying to tweet Only Love That Night, which is a Raincoat song.
Yes.
But I tweeted, great song. But I think I tweeted something like Only Live That Night Did.
Only Live That Night, you guys.
And I even know I tweeted. I don't remember making a tweet. I didn't know I tweeted that. So then I saw the tweet and I texted it to Greg, and I was like, were we just like very wholesomely listening to the Raincoats while being blackout?
Oh, that's so
like
beautiful.
That's the funny thing about alcohol, right? Like, it's like, you imagine looking back on it, like if you had a camera on the wall, you imagine looking back at your blackouts, it would be like the gnarliest shit. And I bet half the time it's just like me sitting in my room, like trying to fix something for 20 minutes, completely forgetting where I am or what I'm doing, and being like, how does anything work in the world? Like,
it's just, it's just the image, or just like me that, like, you know, we're blackout, both of us, and we're just like sitting on the couch listening to the Rain.
I know, of all bands and songs, like,
like, I'm like, okay, you know, I'm glad like nothing crazy happened. I mean, you did almost kill yourself, but like, you know, that's only after you left. That has nothing to do with me.
Sometimes it's those like nights that are oddly wholesome. I still think about many years ago. My friend and I came back to my mom's house because we'd been like drinking, and she lived closer, and we knew that she was out of town. And when we got there, my cousin was actually like house sitting for her, and he just cracked open some wine, and we were already kind of like at a certain place, and he was like, I was just going to pop in this DVD, and the DVD was every single Madonna music video ever. And we literally sat in my mom's, like, my mom has like a nice like sound systems like that. We like just blasted it and watched every single music video. After a certain point, I don't remember anything more. Like, once we hit the 90s, like, memory faded, but we finished it. I know that.
Yeah, I think, yeah, at least you know that it was like Madonna. You know what I mean? Like, I'm curious to know what the rest of the playlist was. It couldn't have all. I remember.
Well, it would.
The last memory I had was Skating Polly, and then somehow from Skating Polly we led to the Raincoats, and I don't know.
And it got passionate at that point, because that was, you know, you two must have talked like really like, oh, it's so, like, because that's like when you pull
it's
up the
so
phone
clear that
you're
we're
like,
both like influenced by the Raincoats.
Well,
like,
yeah, absolutely. But that obviously the conversation was strong enough. We're like, I'm tweeting about this, like.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah.
Wait, you were pulling out your phone. Sorry, this was supposed to be lighting round, and I fucked it up.
Okay, yes. Okay.
You pulled it up to name check some.
Okay. So all the 2 new Tomberlin singles, repeat. Love her. Fast Times by Sabrina Carpenter. She's out here fighting for her life. It is amazing. But it is a Julia Michaels, right? So like, you know, but like, I love Julia Michaels. She's newish, whatever. Anyway, she released her debut last year, so I guess
that would be nice.
Technically makes her new, but she has like a lot of music already out. Like, even aside from like co-rates, like she has like 3 or 5 EPs before that, but like, whatever. Another great pop songwriter, Bonnie Lowe. I've been obsessed with her song Nicotine and Blood in My Nikes.
I'll have to check that out.
She's like written songs for like Kesha and like other people, and like I did a session with her, and like that's how we met. She's great.
That's
and then I just
a lot
like
of my favorites are those people, like Tobias Jesso. What the fuck was his?
Tobias Jesso Jr.
Like, he wrote some shit for like Adele and a couple other people, and like I love.
I mean, he didn't even want to be an artist. He just wanted to write for people. Actually, like, we're like homies. Like,
really,
his funny.
His one and done album is so good.
Yeah, he's never making another.
Oh, that's so depressing.
He's making more money being a songwriter. He's writing for like Adele shit.
I mean, I don't.
You know what I mean? I would never make an album as well as. You know, I barely hate. I hate being a pop star. Like, let's be real. Like, I hate being an art pop star. It's ghetto.
It's time to be that behind the scene songwriter credit.
Well, yeah, I guess I kind of am now at this point. I think I'm definitely shifting to that. The more like production stuff I'm doing, obviously, like, you know, what we're doing with Greg. So I don't know. I'm just out here.
Fair enough. Okay, we gotta close up because we gotta play some games. So let's we're gonna do the 2 classics that we always do. We got MASH lined up. Shamir, have we actually done MASH with you yet on the game?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. So,
or maybe I
Well, it's
No,
time.
none of us would remember.
Yeah.
It's why are we pretending any of us would have
Right.
any idea?
Like, how many, do we know that? Do we know the exact number of many times I've been on here?
Well, if you include the radio show, I want to say this is your 5th. If we include the radio,
5th. Okay.
Yeah, and that doesn't even include times like you've come on and helped out with like some script readings on some special episodes and
Yeah,
stuff like
that's
that.
what I'm saying. We're not including those.
Oh, including those, probably closer to like
I'll have
almost
to-
10.
Yeah, I'll
Okay,
have to dig into that.
that's what I felt. I mean, it feels like somewhere between like 7 and 10.
Oh, that's it. Send him a coffee mug, Caitlin.
Yeah, I should.
We'll get.
I can't
they-
see anything from anywhere right
there-
now. but-
he needs another mug that says host.
Sure.
All right. So you know the classic childhood game MASH though. You know how.
Mash,
Yeah, you're kind of getting it.
House.
No, it's mansion, apartment,
Oh yes.
But you
staff,
didn't-
house.
Yeah, we're gonna do a little. Yeah, this is my own version of witchery right here. This is how we do it on Goth Yearbook.
It was more of an elder millennial game for sure.
No, I
Yeah.
played it. Stop. No, I played it in school. Stop. It's just been a while.
All right, we're gonna get 2 dream places that you would like live the remainder of your life or retire, and like the worst place.
Oh, true. Yes. I mean, I love Philly. You know, that's where I am. Unfortunately, not unfortunately. I love Philly.
You're
It's
like, I
just funny
love
to
Philly, unfortunately.
It's just funny to people, but it's just like I can't imagine myself living anywhere else in America at this point. I think if I didn't love Philly, I wouldn't live like in America.
Right.
So I guess so. I start with Philly, right?
Yep. That.
And then, how many letters is in MASH? 5?
4.
4. I don't know how to spell.
Oh, shit.
Okay, so Philly, and then
You didn't even know what
Okay.
writing was, so it's all good.
yeah. Okay,
But you
so-
only need 2 places.
wait.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, so you
Okay,
only need
maybe
one
You only
more.
need
How
to
it
pick
works.
two good places, right? And then
Yeah.
one bad place?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'm sorry. I can't. I don't want it. I don't want it. I would lose if I ended up in Vegas. So sorry.
Okay, so Vegas is the bad one. So then one more good one.
Australia. I really like Australia. It's really pretty out there and
yeah.
chill.
I could see you living there, and the people are really cool.
You know, and I have a lot of homies.
All right. 2 dream jobs, gigs, things that you're like, all right, this is what I'm doing the rest of my life. I'm chill with it. And then like one
Mhm.
that'd be like awful. Sounds like pop star might be the awful one.
I mean, awful one would be well, awful. I mean, even though he been a pop star, it's like I made my peace with it.
Hmm.
I would say awful one. It's just like something like super duper corporate, like been the CEO of like some corporate company. Like
Yeah.
that would be like really shitty. And then 2 therapists. I want to retire as a therapist, and
Okay.
then I just want to say this like film. I don't even want to say like actor, director, like whatever, like
This
anything.
film.
Like this film, this whatever, like makes sense for me. You know, obviously I've acted before, but and I do want to go like a little bit more harder and like get into like my acting bag. It's just I don't live in LA, so like it makes it hard to audition.
All right.
But
Yeah.
like I really love editing and I really love shooting and I really like cinematography, and I've spent a while like carving out my own specific cinematography style, and I'm eventually shooting a short film for a friend and I'm so excited about. So yeah, I just like anything when it comes to
You're a
film.
great cinematographer. I always love like the color and composition of your
It's
video.
so crazy that
shots
one time for the diet video that I had shot, Consequence of Sound thought that it was all green screen, just the way that I colored it and like did it, and I was like, no.
I love the coloring in that video. It's so good.
Thank you.
2 of your favorite colors.
Green and black, yeah.
Oh, Caitlin, aren't those your 2 favorite?
Wow.
The And then what's your least favorite color?
I don't know, because I really like colors, you know.
Yeah. But if you were like saddled with this one as like the color of anything, like
Which color don't you wear?
That's the thing. Like,
You looked at it and
I
everything's
wear
fine.
a lot of colors. Like,
what are you going to leave?
you know what I will.
least?
You know what I will say though, even though green is like my favorite color, I do wear very little green. I don't think I look the best in green.
Whoa, this is
So
also
green.
green. I'll put bad green.
I just respect it too much to wear it, you know.
What are like 2 cars or vehicles or mode of transportations that you'd be like, oh, this is so awesome that this is my way that I get to get around for the rest of my life?
I don't know. I can't drive.
Well, it doesn't have to be a car necessarily. It's just like this
It could
is
be
a
someone
fantasy.
driving.
Yeah.
Oh, a magic carpet.
Oh shit.
Nice. Hell yeah. That's what I want in LA. That's the perfect transportation.
Yeah, no shit.
You have instant fame and notoriety, and
Yeah.
and you can get anywhere in like 5 minutes.
And then
And I feel like it's definitely like, you know, environmental conscious.
oh,
Exactly. Yeah. And only like one other person can fit.
Yeah.
what
I've been going to the supermarket would be crazy.
yeah. So extra just to get that fucking apple. Street rat. Riff raff.
Oh my god. I'm just like picturing it, just like food all around you on the carpet.
I'm like still trying to drink an iced coffee.
And, like, a guy's like honking at you as you're trying to lift off. The whimsy long abandoned. You're like, fuck you.
Oh my god.
I know, they tell me too.
Shamir,
I got
one more.
myself right there.
One more. Okay.
Me?
What? Oh, I have to give one more?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you had one more question. I was waiting for you to give me another thing.
You,
Okay.
you're giving us this look, and I was like, do you
Yeah, I
want
was
us
like-
to drive you?
No,
Yeah.
magic carpet and another good one.
Okay, I will say that like I've always had this affinity for VW buses.
Perfect.
Nice. Yes.
yeah. Like, but like
then-
the classic ones, like from the 60s and 70s.
Right.
There's all these like VW buses down here and like bugs and stuff that I think are
Really?
from like people who drove them down in the 60s and then never left. And it's so cute because they're all like surfer vans and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They got like a little bit of that sea salt rust to them. What would be like? Do you have like a car that you hate the most, or one you see and you're just like, I would never?
I just don't know anything about. I can't drive. I just don't understand cars.
Do you have one? Do you like dislike planes or boats or any sort of thing that
Yeah,
you're
I
like
don't-
We
Even
could
though I
make the
fly
bad
a
thing
lot.
driving the car then.
bad
Could be the
bad
bad
magic
mode.
bad magic carpet?
I mean, even though I obviously have to fly a lot for like, you know, my career and I fly a lot, I don't like flying.
all right. I'm gonna
So
put
I don't
airplane.
love flying. Yeah, fuck the airplane.
Okay, your crushes. These could be real people, celebrities who are real people. But like 2 that you were like, all right, I settled down with this person and this person.
Mhm. Everyone knows I I
Everyone.
had to delete a tweet last night. I had to delete a tweet last night because I was like, maybe this is a little too much.
Were you adding them
Um,
directly or?
I didn't add them. I don't even
Okay.
think they're on Twitter. But
boy.
I tweeted, I was like, I'm tired of being a human. Can I just be Austin Abrams comrade?
First of all, damn. Second of all, who?
Austin Abrams,
I know.
I
an
don't-
actor. He's in Euphoria. He's
I don't,
Oh, is that
oh,
Fez?
which one is he?
no, not Fez.
Oh,
He's
Nate.
he's the one. No, even though he's cute too.
We're trying to figure out which problems you have.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yes.
No, this goes to show this is what I want. I want stability. He's the one that's dating Kat. That Kat
That
is
was
being
the
involved.
star of the
Oh,
musical.
okay.
Mhm.
They're
And
playing
then-
Nate.
Is
But I've been like I've been on
The
record saying how
stability of
much I
being
love him
his
so many
comeback.
times in hopes that like he Googles himself and finds me.
Googles himself
That,
one.
maybe that
What
could
are
be
they
the start
saying
of
about
something.
me tonight? And it's just.
Okay, so Austin Abrams come right.
Austin Abrams come right.
It's so funny. I'm glad I was like, it's telling it like that immediately. Like, I'm like, Fez, like a dangerous person. Glad I didn't immediately shout out Cal, the dad.
Oh
Ew.
God, no. Even though I just saw a thirst tweet about him, and I was like, we're going too far from God. We're straying too far.
Yeah, from the light of God. Yeah, Euphoria's really
Yeah.
brought out some darkness in people in their like horny ways. What we need one other comrade.
Yeah. So I'm trying to find their name. They're this they them on TikTok that I'm obsessed with. And I don't know their real name. I just like know them from TikTok, but I just follow them on Instagram and they follow me back.
One of my favorite Shamir moments from the show, first appearance on the podcast, was you basically teaching Caitlin and I what TikTok was. And then essentially being like, you know what, you two should probably just not get on it.
Yeah, no, it's chaotic. I mean, I'm constantly overwhelmed by it. I forget their name.
Should I just say
I just know
hot
I just know
TikTok
they have like
non-binary person?
Yeah, I just know that their name on Instagram has like capybara in it, and I'm like trying to look up capybara something.
Are there C's in there, or is it just TIKTOK?
I have no idea.
I really do.
Anyway, yeah, that's like
Okay.
weird they them from Instagram.
All right.
I'm
So
obsessed with them.
capybara TikTok.
Yeah.
Capybara TikTok person
Nice.
with the mullet.
Oh shit, the mullet.
The mullet. The
That's
mullet is queer now.
It is, yeah.
The mullet is clear now. And then I need a bad person.
Yeah. We're gonna have to have someone that you're like, fuck this one. The stress for the listener at home. Shamir is wiping.
Adam Driver, so sorry about it.
Oh
Ooh. I had a really scary dream about Adam Driver, so I'm with you on that.
I thought that after that scary dream, you were more on board with Adam Driver.
No. I've never felt one way or another about him. I've never been attracted to him, but I've never been
Me
like,
too.
oh, he's hideous.
He's just overhyped to me.
But oh my God, in the dream, he was literally like, he was like a cult leader, and I was living in this cult, and I like didn't really know how to leave, and it was all these women, and it was this very like kind of like Amish vibes. Like
Hell
we had
yeah.
to like wear conservative dresses and like live on a farm kind of shit. And he was like, every week he would take a woman into the barn. This is really dark. I'm sorry, you guys. He would take a woman into the barn and like cut her up to pieces. And then like he was wearing a priest outfit, and he was so tall. And then he would go behind the barn and pump water onto his hands and wash the blood off.
It's kind of hot.
So I'm
Wait, you
so
said it was
sorry
supposed. Where's
for
the dark
sharing
part? I get that
So
play. He's probably into that. Honestly, that's like gonna be like some shit that he probably
No,
like.
he's not Army Hammer.
No, that it does sound like an Adam Driver movie for real.
Sure, yeah.
I need 3 random numbers.
Oh my God, how long is I thought it was 4 letters.
We're almost there.
3 numbers?
Yeah.
Okay. 326.
All right.
Great.
Because duh.
Absolutely. And then one final one. This is, I don't know why they slammed this one in the very back, but 2 of your favorite animals that you're like, they're going to be with me.
I'm
my
obsessed with
TikToker.
monkeys. I don't know if you've noticed that, like from my Twitter and like other things.
What kind
I'm
of,
obsessed with monkeys.
is there a specific like,
I love primates.
okay, oh shit.
I love primates. They're just like humans, but not. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Dude, I get it.
Yeah.
I fucking trip out on them all the time. And then one other one.
And then and I love just like the sleekness of like, you know, a wild like cat. Doesn't matter, again, like very broad, but like, you know,
Cat.
tigers, lions.
Wildcat.
Yeah, wildcat.
Wildcat. And then what's an animal that you're like, this, I fucking hate this animal.
I really like animals.
There's gotta be one where you're like, this is some bullshit. Who
Ducks
signed
are
up?
a little fucked. You know, I like them sometimes, but they're a little fucked. You know.
They are a little fucked. All
Yeah.
right. Okay, we're going to one final thing. I'm going to start drawing a circle, and you tell me when to stop.
Stop.
That was considered 5. All right. As we always do, we'll show the guests. We got a little pencil that's crossing out right now, but we'll skip ahead. Shamir, once you graduate, they always say that you're in school, you'll find work in Australia
Sick.
as a CEO of a corporation. You'll get around town in your black plane. Okay, so you're flying around on a plane that's black. You'll marry.
I'm like the worst capitalist version of myself.
You really like go into the. You really go
The dark
into
side.
But hey, you're gonna marry a hot non-binary TikToker, and you're gonna live in an apartment with 3 kids and an ever loyal pet monkey. See, keep it.
This is like literally just me becoming a capitalist.
Yeah, it's just you like giving into the dark impulse.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know.
Right. Well, you know, that's not.
I hate it for me, but I also kind of love it for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it makes sense.
I feel the same way. I'm thinking about it. I'm like, I hate it, but I could see it.
Yeah. You know.
You know, it's like a RuPaul where it's like
I sound happy. Yeah, exactly. It's giving RuPaul. It's giving RuPaul.
One day you're like, it's like in the beginning, it's like I'm finding the good fight. You're like, you know what? I'm going to buy land with oil on it, and it's like allow fracking.
Maybe
it happens.
Maybe by then the planes will be like using fuel cells
or oil
cells.
I don't know what they're referencing because I didn't check the YouTube for a second. The YouTube's popping off tonight like never before. Shout out to everyone posting in there. But someone Halo friend of the show.
I tweeted it too beforehand. I'm like, y'all got it in a act.
Someone No Halo friend of the show just wrote Scott Peterson. I don't know what's in reference to it all, but I like it. Shamir's giving a disgusted look. Okay.
Wait, is that the shitty guy from
From what?
From like that's like always like on fucking what's
he's in prison.
Joe Rogan.
No, he's in prison for the murder of Lacey Peterson, and it was a crime case in like the late 2000s, and I don't want to go into it because I watched a documentary that was making like this whole case for him being innocent, and I was like, I don't know.
Okay, we got it.
But we can't get into that right
Shamir,
now.
Yeah.
I don't support Scott Peterson. Okay, I just want to say that. I just have questions.
Okay. Because Shamir, this is your 10th as we've decided time. We're gonna go past the bedtime just a little bit longer. This is a quick one, but we are going to
special episode.
Yeah, with the
Is it actually my 10th time though?
Well, I'm gonna find out, and
we're gonna count. Yeah,
I do want to know the exact number though, but we're gonna say 10th for now.
Also, I'm gonna post on Instagram after, not Twitter because I'm still learning that one, but it'll be up on a social media. We're gonna end on a dark note actually because your new album, it's abrasive, it's dark.
I'm a Scorpio.
It's fucking right. So, would you get away with murder? Is the name of this quiz. Well, we'll find out. We're gonna find out because Olive. It was developed by Olive back in 2000. Oh, this is more recent. 2021. Halloween time, in fact, was when Olive made this. So Olive was getting into the spirit of the season. Wondering how much you know about committing. They wrote commuting, but wondering how much you know about committing the perfect crime. Take this quiz to find out. Don't worry though, this is completely fake, or is it? Okay, number 1. Where would you do the evil act? Inside, maybe a bedroom, a dock by a lake, a car, the woods, or outside in tall grass?
You gotta do it in your room. It's way more controlled. You can clean that shit up and down. Listen, I watch too much true crime.
Hopefully no one like in your personal circle like gets murdered soon, and then they're like pulling up this in a courthouse. Like, look at him just listing off everything.
Whatever, this wouldn't even be admissible because they're not gonna find a single drop of DNA or anything. Listen,
they're not gonna find this podcast. Quite frankly,
that's smart because you need like a warrant to even get in there.
That's what I'm saying. If you kill someone in a controlled room, you can clean that room from top and bottom, and there's not a single drop of evidence.
Holy
so I'm gonna say room.
Yeah. That's good. Okay. I like it. No, that's good. You're right. I never thought about it.
That's legit.
What would your weapon be? I'd poison them. A blunt object, a gun, a rope, or a knife.
Poison's even easier.
Oh my gosh, yeah, they're just hand feeding you the death. You get them literally, you get them to the planned area by drugging them, threatening them, hurt them a little so they'll obey, kinky, planning a date or get together, or luring them using persuasion.
I poisoned them on a date.
Okay. I'm sorry. I know I
You're
just
very
like,
decisive about this.
what materials do you bring? Gloves and a shovel, gloves and a trash bag, just a shovel, just the gloves, or just the trash bag?
Gloves and trash bag, because if I poison them,
Yeah.
I just need something to wrap them in, and then, I can
No, keep going.
buy the shovel later or something. I don't know.
What do you do with the evidence? Burn it, throw it in the river, bury it in a deep hole, leave it where it is, or throw it in a dumpster?
I think for a poison body, like definitely like bury deeply.
Okay. Where
But
would you?
if I really want to have like 000 evidence, I need to
Mm.
just like find some kind of like super strong biodegradable acid.
Naturally, yeah. Do you want to go with the bury it then, or do you want to consider that
Let's
like
go
a
with
burn
the
it?
bury it since that's
Okay.
not an option.
Are you
going
saying
out-
with a body?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, no,
I
it just says
feel
with the
like-
evidence. It just says the evidence.
Oh,
so
okay.
that
Well,
can
is,
mean
is the body not evidence? Like,
No,
the
I
ultimate.
feel like sometimes I wonder if like finding a natural area with like a lot of predators and then like covering the body in like,
like a
I mean, it's already
Catholic
covered
church.
in blood.
but you're not in control of like what happens to the body. Like,
No,
the
yeah,
predators can
true.
spread it around, and it's just
Yeah. You're being questioned for the crime. How do you react? I cry and act upset. I act neutral. I blame a close family member of the victim. I come up with an alibi. I act confused.
come up with an alibi.
Yeah, I mean, right? I
Yeah.
feel like that should be just the benchmark, and then after that is one of these options, but whatever.
You'd think watching some of these people going for questioning though, you could wonder what.
I'll say this: the one thing I always hate is when they'll bring up the phone call to 911, and they'll always be like, "Who would sound like that?" Like, there's no winning. Like, you could call in, act super nonplussed. They'd be like, "Well, yeah, of course they're the murderer," and it'll be like super sobbing and going crazy, and they'll be like, acting much.
Faking it.
Like,
Yeah.
there's no winning. It's like you're in shock.
That's it. Also, the other thing too is like a lot of like murderers don't like have friends, and like I have a like I have a circle of like friends that like I talk to on a daily basis that I am like DMing or texting between the hours of like constantly between hours.
Oh,
of,
so
like,
you're
9
always
a.m.
got like
and
a
like 3 a.m. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
as long as I'm continuing to respond, I'm gonna have an alibi. They're gonna be like, "Well, I was texting him and he seemed fine."
Like Joe and you.
Exactly.
In the first season, he did that more.
Yeah,
He would like,
exactly.
yeah.
You are being asked to give a DNA sample. How do you respond? Okay, why not? I don't really want to, I guess, or no.
Okay, why not? Because they're not gonna find Nandy and my. I don't have that much hair on my body.
Mm.
As long as my head is wrapped, my DNA ain't gonna be nowhere.
All right. Unless Austin Abrams texts you at that moment and you're like, whoa,
Yeah, no, my DNA. No, like his DNA would be my DNA. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a great Hallmark card right there.
If anything, they're gonna find Austin Ingram's DNA.
Yeah.
if anything.
Yeah, shit.
He's gonna go down for your murder.
Austin, thank you, baby. Oh, shit. The police have found another person to interrogate. How do you respond when they tell you this? I let out a sigh of relief. Whoosh. I stay the same. I act happy. I avoid eye contact altogether, or I fidget in my seat.
This is the first time that like none of like what I would do
Olive.
is there.
What
What would you do?
I would be act shocked. I'd be like, what? Oh my god. Really? Is it them?
I guess the closest, unfortunately, in this one is like I stay the same. So
Yeah,
it's
I
like
stay
maybe
the
just
same,
staying
yeah.
like keeping the energy. So maybe
Yeah,
that's like
keep
your
it-
energy already.
Yeah, say the same.
Yeah, it would be weird if you were like, yeah, you
Exactly.
found
That's what I'm saying. That's a
someone.
tell. Like I've watched you don't understand. I listen to so many true crime podcasts. Like I've watched so much true crime. Like
What's like one of your favorite like miniseries ones?
Bailey Sarian. I love Bailey Sarian. She's just like the best.
Is that a podcast?
Podcast and YouTuber.
Sorry, say that.
She does makeup and talk about true crime.
Oh, okay. Wait, I meant like a filmed one though. Like, do you have a favorite? Where like Netflix drops like 10 episodes about this one guy or whatever. Like, do you have a favorite one of those?
What is it? Like, Don't Fuck with Cats or like whatever that.
That one.
That one was good. That was crazy. Body moving. Yeah.
I can't watch that one.
You and the other suspect have been asked to have. We only got 2 more. You and the other suspect have been asked to have your home searched. While this is going on, police find your clothes from the time of the murder. What will you do? Let them take them for testing, refuse that they take them, put up a little bit of fight before handing them over, deny that they're mine, or hope that I wash the blood out well enough.
Say won't be blood because I poisoned them.
Poison, yeah.
Yeah, I'll let them take it because it's gonna be dirt.
Yeah. That's right. And finally,
I was gardening.
Yeah. Are you going out to Westchester? Where are you taking this by? I mean, you're in a big city.
I guess, yeah, Bartram's. Yeah, I was taking down the Bartram's.
It's time for you to plead your case. What point will you be sure to make? I'll explain how close to the victim and I were. I'll give them a fake location where I was. I'll use my family relationships to back me up. I'll give reasons as to why the other suspect is guilty, or I'll just deny everything that they say.
Yeah, because we've already established that it was a date situation. I'd be like, I just fucked them and they left.
So the first one, I'll explain how close the victim and I were, or like the nature of the relationship.
Yeah, we just like hook up once.
All right. What was the name of this quiz again?
Well, I get away with
murder.
Would you? I thought it was going to be like how much of a murderer you were. I forgot already. Because you're testing off the fucking charts, in my opinion. But, all right, let's see if you would get away with it. All right, you got a little stamp of approval. Would you, Shamir, you took the quiz. Would you get away with murder? You got innocent. Wow, congratulations. You're now on the run. Based on the evidence of the scene, you've been ruled out as the criminal. You must have been good at destroying any possible leads. Now you get to run free, running by Shamir on streaming platforms and live your life
by me.
at least until your actions catch up to you. Whew, my Lord.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, yeah, I mean, if I'm like, Kaylin, I got to stay with you for like a month. Ask no questions. You know what I mean?
I would be so stoked.
I'd be like, great. Like, let's stay.
Yeah.
Finally.
Oh shit. Well,
I don't even want to know. I just don't even tell me about it.
You'd be like, we're chilling.
You're like watching true crime, listening to true crime podcasts about that one as it's developing. And
well, doing our makeup.
Is that crazy? Didn't you fuck that guy? I know.
Yeah.
They're bringing your name up a lot on this podcast.
What was his dick like?
Enough to murder him. It was real trash.
Real trash.
All right. Well, Shamir, thank you so much for joining us on the show. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this evening. That was incredible. Best visit yet. I'm calling it right fucking now.
Always great being on here.
Our absolute favorite. Kayla and I, seriously, you messaged me earlier and I was like, Kayla and I have been talking all week about how stoked we are. We were very excited about this. So before we get going, obviously I have a new album out. Do you want to kind of plug in where people should get it?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are like, fuck Spotify right now, and I fully stand that. So, just stream it everywhere. But I mean, you can't even stream it on Amazon because I hate Amazon more than Spotify. So it's not even on there. And if you have Amazon and you want to get it, just buy it on Bandcamp. Because that's what a lot of people are doing if they have Amazon. And then I have a song that I produced for my new artist on Accidental. Her name's Latifa. It's her debut song, her debut single, so that comes out on the 1st. And then release shows in Philly on the 22nd of March, and then in Brooklyn on the 25th of March.
Oh shit. Very exciting. Well, everyone please go fucking get it because it's incredible. My favorite yet and my favorite appearance yet. Shamir, we love you. Thank you so much.
I love you. I love you.
And thank you to all the YouTubers, both new and old, who joined us this evening. It was popping off so much, then I just couldn't even catch up with it to like shout everyone out. But thank you all for keeping it happening there. And as always, Caitlin, thank you for being the co-host with the Mo-host. I'm going to say goodnight to both y'all. Good night, guys.
Good night. I also love you guys.
I love you. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Goodbye, world.
Recording stop.